All right, I'm joined by Mr. Cabanga. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. And to your listeners.
Awesome. Please introduce yourself and what you do.
So name is Lungisa. Surname is Cabanga. Yes. I'm from around Cape Town. Born in Eastern Cape Town, but raised in the outskirts of Cape Town, but far from here. So basically, what I do is I'm in construction by profession as a quantity surveyor, and basically, I just help everyone in there that's working.
Sure.
To do their job to their level best. To just be that supportive mechanism throughout the life cycle of that project. And I do that from one to the next project. Basically, I am currently shifting within that to to be that manager that needs assistance like myself.
Sure.
But for now, I am a quantity surveyor
Awesome.
by qualification.
Awesome. Nice. I think we'll actually delve into that more in detail.
Yeah.
So, quantity surveying, what brought you first into that first interest in wanting to do? Why did you choose quantity surveying?
Look, I would lie if I said I had the ideas when I was still in high school. I had different ideas then.
Sure.
It's something I stumbled upon when I was in college. Before I went to CBUT, I was in Northland College. Because when I was accepted in CBUT, I gallivanted until that space was given to someone else. Which was for Mech-Eng, surprisingly. And so I found myself like any other student with no place to register. And January is coming to an end, and I was like, you know what? There's a place next door. Let me go check what's happening.
Sure.
And then I did civil and on that first trimester, because everything was done on trimesters.
Trimesters, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I did civil which had some engineering subjects. Was mainly based on structures and stuff. So and then on the second term, I was introduced to quantity surveying, and then I think because the guy that was teaching it was very passionate, then I caught that passion, and I kind of delve into understanding what is actually this, and then as we unpack the subject course, and I got interested. And then instead of applying for what I initially applied, then I applied for quantity surveying this time.
Sure.
And I got accepted, and I think that's about it. It wasn't something that came from a dream, from childhood, because it's something we barely know, as a career path, because obviously of the exposure, into it, and also because these big projects, they happen far from the townships.
Sure.
So you don't get to know the whole structure of a project,
The building services,
the
yeah,
personnel
sure.
that is involved. You just know, civil, building. But
And
you
I mean,
never
that's what you only get to know. Like the civil engineers, it's like they do
Exactly, yeah.
everything. They do quantity survey.
you that's all you don't know really the full personnel involved in the establishment of a project. You just know the highlights of it, which are the civil engineers, the guys that get to really construct the structure. But how and who helps them while they do that, that's what you are unaware of.
Sure.
And that's what I found out.
And then what is the big difference between college and varsity? Number one. Number two is, what is it that you did to make sure that you graduate as a quantity surveyor?
The big difference between college and varsity obviously is the accreditation that is required by other professional bodies if you want to be registered. and college still needs a bit of work, for you to be recognized in that category of qualification. While in varsity, if you have your diploma and a few years of experience, you can already be considered. So that already creates a gap, unfortunately, because one would assume it's also tertiary learning or higher learning. It's supposed to be recognized because it's a government institution, but I think because of the level of accreditation that is offered in college, there is still more requirement from professional bodies after you have achieved that qualification from college. Whilst in university, they recognize the level that you have achieved. And then they would stipulate that, okay, then you need to undergo, these modules or undergo certain experiences for us to fully, confer you. So basically, that's that. It's the recognition, and the stereotypes. Obviously, that when you go to college, people think that you guys are probably learning things from high school still. You are sharpening. There is no new.
Sure.
But I mean, what I learned from myself, college made it easy for me to transition in university. And that's not because I'm not talking the lifestyle part of it. I'm talking the educational part of it.
Part of it, yes.
Because I got introduced in QS in college, which made it easy for me to understand most of the concept that were introduced, because you remember, first year university, you are introduced into concept that you don't know from high school.
100%.
So because I was from college, so those concepts were a bit, spongy for me, to grasp, because I've heard this before. And it made it for me to really, really not find first year, that difficult. And on your second question, what I did, to make sure I carried through. First of all, I mean, when I was churching here in Cape Town while I was in college, there were people from the university that were doing the same course, but obviously on the university level. And they used to complain that quantity surveying is so difficult. It's long. You never write less than 4-hour paper when you're writing your, your exams. It's always like 4 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, what's so long? Because in college, you're like 2 hours, you're done.
Sure.
So there's also that discrepancy that I wonder what is it that these guys are doing that is so long.
Yeah.
Because for us, it's just 2 hours. And then you get to understand when you're there. So one of the things I needed to learn or to unlearn was the fact that the theory part that you do not get from college is introduced now. Because in college it's more you're just counting. They just introduce the concept and then you start writing, counting. But now university, they bring history. They bring, concepts of who started this. You get to understand the people that were before you in the industry.
Sure.
And then you start to understand maybe their line of thinking. That's when if you have a university degree, you get to also be a person that is out of box thinking, because you're introduced to concepts of people that were trying to solve situations, problems, and trying to tap into areas that were unfamiliar to them before. So that kind of mindset kind of keep you glued and interested. And for me, basically, it's that kind of thinking that kind of kept me, And people could say, I was serious, I was too focused and I'll fail because, you need to relax. This is university.
Sure.
You don't need to take things by heart all the time.
100%.
And for me, I think maybe it was just because of the time. I felt like I didn't, use my college year to my advantage that much. So I felt when I was going to university and still start from first year, I felt like, hey, last year was a waste. But I knew deep down that it wasn't a waste because it set me up for this.
Yes. So you were sort of like running through your first year.
Yeah. Basically, running through my first year and also trying to become about it, not to be too excited because I know the concept,
100%.
but to always sink in and always understand, I wasn't good at cramming, but I was good in understanding, because I know once I understand,
The concept,
cramming is
yeah, sure.
is
It's
not
not
much
you-
of a need,
100%.
unless then the person wants it verbatimly. He wants word for word, then obviously cramming will come into
Sure,
place. But
sure.
if you seek understanding, that I will give you. So, my first year was just a way for me to unlearn a few things, like study methods and learn, because now university is different, man. It's a different ballgame. When people say, there, you need to take care of yourself, no one is going to push you. And you're thinking, nah, all teachers push you, man. Even the lecture will push you. Because obviously, if something is not submitted, they will say, hey, something is not submitted. But university was different, man. If you didn't submit something, you just hear announcement of people who didn't submit, and you hear
And see the marks.
no follow up on what's going to happen on them. It's like, well, you guys are going to see for yourself.
Sure.
If you didn't bring a sick leave or anything, it has passed you. And you learn. I mean, guys used to come there rocking with pajamas because they slept late and now it's exam time and they're like, I need to write. I know I didn't shower, but I need to write.
Yeah.
Because they understand the
The
seriousness.
case must show up, yeah.
So you get to see that, man, and you get to be impacted by other people. You meet people who are from different backgrounds and you learn from them that, hey, I need to be serious, because the way these guys are taking this serious, it's almost as if it's already their bread and butter.
Sure.
Because they can see from it that if I don't see this now as something that's going to feed me, then I might as well not do it. Yeah, so basically, I just took it by heart, man. And I knew I don't have another chance because I started university and I was already like 22 years old, So while others are like 18 and 19.
Youngsters. Sure.
So I was like, I don't have time
Yeah.
to waste. I need to do this and get out. And I didn't accept, what do you call those things? Rewrites and all that. I couldn't accept those things. I'm not going to be found there because I need to make sure, one goal. And it helped me, man. I mean, but I was staying in Philippi, traveling with train.
Hectic.
I was always late for my first class.
Sure.
Because it somehow didn't matter how early I wake up, but also waking up too early was dangerous. So you kind of need to pace. When do I wake
Find
up?
the sweet spot.
Man, it was tough.
Yeah,
And I tried to speak with the lecturer that was doing, because I think my computer was my first class. Because the guy needed to go to town and teach the same subject. So he wanted to start in Bravo and then go to town.
Yeah.
So he made it so difficult, man, because by 8 o'clock, you're still probably passing Unibel somewhere. And that guy, everything of his was done online.
Hectic.
So if you didn't submit or you didn't upload whatever that he needed, if he's closed that time, he's closed that. I knew 8:30, everything that needed to be submitted is submitted.
Must be
So if you get there 8:30, sometimes you call your friend, hey man, here are my details. Here's my stuff, please submit for me.
Sure.
But sometimes he's running to submit for himself and he misses you. And yeah, I think I ended up having to just make it up on my finals. There's no way I'm going to fail computer, man, because of submissions and tutorials. And you think those things are small, but curse mark, they count.
Yeah.
Yeah, they count. Yeah, so basically, that's that, man.
That's super interesting. I think you did touch on some few themes, but I don't want to do a lot of follow-ups. But I think the workforce will sort of just try to get wisdom from what you were just sharing. You graduate and you start working. Please go through your career and what has been the highlights on each and every stage of your career.
Look, man, I think the in-service training after first year, it used to be after first year.
Sure.
I think now they've changed.
Oh, but you guys used to do it first year, then you go work, and then you have to come back again. Hectic.
Yeah.
You guys no, that was painful. Whoever thought about that?
And
so you enjoy the money,
and you come,
and you come back and
to poverty again. Man, and some employers, they used to solicit some of the guys to stay, man. No, man, don't worry about finishing.
Sure.
I'll give you everything that finishing that course would have given you.
Because they're seeing how promising you are.
Yeah, yes, and also they'll promise you, heaven and earth. But the same person will leave that company,
100%. Sure.
and that's what sometimes we do not gain from such things. It's better to stick to what you
Yeah.
want to do. So my first year, I think my in-serve was one of the greatest experience,
I know.
even to this point.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
yes, there were hiccups then and there. I worked, in town, VNA Waterfront. I worked there for my in-service training. I used to walk from the station to Waterfront
Sure.
every day.
Sure.
I promise you. And sometimes I did have money to climb in taxis, but when you see your side team, like the guys that you work with on site, walking, somehow you feel so good, like, you know what, I'm gonna walk with these
still
guys.
do it, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think it becomes tricky when it's rainy days.
Yeah, obviously when it's rainy days, also the times that you meet these guys, you can see sometimes when it's raining, you don't even see them. Because obviously, some are like, today I'm not gonna
Take a taxi, yeah, sure.
But most of the times I walked, not just because they were walking. And because one of our lecturers said, when you get to site, you'll meet people that are not as educated, but have got a mountain of experience that you can learn from. And the best thing you can do as a student is not to look down on them because they are wearing overalls and they look dirty, but to learn what they have learned throughout the time, because those people have worked with even more better professionals than yourself, and so which means they know more from the industry than you do.
Yeah.
And just that, kept me humble right through. And so, working with those guys, hearing their stories, they tell you about who was, the students before you and, what stood out from them. It keeps you humble and you learn quite a lot of things, because you might learn from school, they told you to measure this, you need to do this. And then you get to site and those guys are like, no, man, forget that. Come here. Where's your tape? Bring it here. Do this. There you go. Don't you have your answer? Go verify with your books there. Yeah, they tell it like a joke, but it's wisdom. It's a well of wisdom.
Practical side of theory, sure.
Exactly. It's a well of wisdom that you do not get from books. It's experience. So once you approach work with that mindset, it becomes a lovely place to be. Because everyone you come across, you don't look down on them. And they learn also to respect you as a student or as a person that is not higher than them. So I think for me that I take that with me everywhere I go to this day. As a professional as I am today, I still have an open door policy with anyone, not just my site personnel, subcontractors. You can ask me something, and I would advise some of them, look, this is how to make money, man. The way you're doing you're not gonna last long. I've seen this happen quite a so I'm that kind of person. So throughout my experience, I had to quickly learn that because of the nature of the environment, you work with people, like face-to-face people. You deal with people's monies, as a quantity surveyor. You deal with people's assets, people's belong, because, their money is their everything, and you mess with their money, you're not going to be, their favorite person. So you quickly learn, that when someone needs to get paid, they get paid.
Sure.
And that's the only way you guys get along. Other than that, it's quite daunting, man. I mean, I've had quite also some scary experiences.
Okay.
Being at gunpoint.
Gunpoint.
Yeah, being at gunpoint.
Someone looking for money.
No. Someone
so
telling me, get out of here. We're taking ownership of this place.
Is it something like construction mafias or something like that?
Gangsterism.
Sure.
Yeah. Construction mafia is a total ball game, but that I've also dealt with. But that particular time, it was gangsterism.
Okay.
Someone from their local members, didn't get paid from someone else, and so their buddies, they felt, you know what, we're going there and we're going to show them who we are. This is our place. They came here to do work. If you're not gonna get paid, then they're not gonna work, and that's just what happened.
Sure.
So
And then how do you deal with that?
Look, there are many ways, contractually, that you can deal with that. One of which is to call the police, as they are the order of the law, and you then deal with it from there. Get a statement, and then you contact your client, tell them of what delays you're dealing with and what kind of delays are those, and then you guys get maybe to a contractual agreement whether that suffice, to so that you can claim that day back. Some, they don't agree, some do agree. But it's a whole constructual thing, in a contract document that you need to deal with as a contractor to see how you win that day back, because a day gone, when it's it's not 1,000, it's a couple
There's
of
programs
bucks.
and everything. Yeah, sure.
Yes, it's a couple of things that goes with it. So, but I mean, it's one of those projects that are more where you get people who have so much voice, and they know that they have so much voice taking advantage. Yeah. So it was one of those, but yeah, working with locals as well, it does that. You might think working with locals is cheaper, everything, but it also is very striky because there's a lot of strikes, there's
Sure.
a lot of demands, there's a lot of clashing,
Sure.
of power, because they feel like this is our community. So you need to listen to us. You cannot look down on us because you came here and bring a job. We are the ones that won the government over to give us this service. And by hiring you doesn't mean that you are more than us. So you get to deal with all of that, and you just humble yourself and ask, so how do we move forward? You have a civil conversation and to see how you can sort it out. If there are people that are decent enough to sit with you and you have the conversation, and if most of them, they always require, no, I want a person higher than you.
Okay.
That's the thing. Sometimes with our black people, they feel more respected when they deal with the white man.
Okay.
Even though you are there to represent
The whole company,
company's
sure.
estate, but they feel more. I don't think you'll hear us properly. Let's get someone above you
100%.
that
Yeah.
can listen to our demands. Maybe we can stop this. I mean, yeah. So it's some of the issues have even gone to arbitration, gone to the courts, and sometimes even to this day I still meet people like, yeah, you guys chased us, must they? You called us to courts to chase us.
Sure.
That's how much power we have. They don't see anything wrong with it. They still
And I mean,
see.
it's just moving them backwards instead of having
Yes.
to make progress. Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, those the kind of jobs we do, the kind of jobs that grow, these small businesses, in construction, and we are not forced, but we are commanded by our contract, to transfer skills and transfer knowledge to them so that they can grow, and that not just in terms of skills, in terms, on site. This is how to lay a brick, this is how to check if it is correct, this is how to check if everything is in. This is not just that, also financial advice, to say, look, you are not making enough money, your team is small, try and get more people, and then you come next week and maybe your monies will start to grow. Or you advise them, look, you are wasting money by always buying and working and buying, because then you end up not seeing what you are making, and you then complain that we are not paying you enough, but also you're not planning, because like other people say, if you don't plan, you fail.
You're planning to fail.
Yes. So we are advised to also do that, to support, there's these businesses. I mean, I've seen businesses grow. You see a black person, grow. And I think because of the lack of financial muscle sometimes, they grow into buying cars and flashy things, and they don't think to invest, in a more meaningful, business, to just grow the structure of their business, solicit more professional bodies into their business, to try to, it's always about, yo, I made money in that project,
Sure.
and yeah, I'm a tenderpreneur. But yeah, you wish sometimes you'd meet that one person who made it out, of all these projects that you have seen, there's low cost housing, it is social housing development. There's a lot, but I mean, if you visit those people, their houses look beautiful, their children, they've got everything, but you look into the business itself, it hasn't grown from what it did. They still don't own a laptop. They still don't own an office. They still don't, own personnel. They still asking, hey man, hey, Lungisa, can you do me an invoice, man? Hey, yeah, I need to claim. But yeah, I think it's maybe also our small businesses from the government side that teach these small businesses in terms of to grow. Maybe we lack there and there in terms of, putting these guys into a form, into a form that can, grow them and make this, what you call it, a family wealth,
Sure.
that their children can take from, and their children's children, like what like the white people do. I work for a company that's owned by white brothers, two brothers who just decided, what, let's start something, and that was back in when still our country was in apartheid. But I mean, those guys,
They're well established
they
now.
are well established. They own farms, they own, estates, they own big things than construction now. And that's also because they had, more and proper financial advice. They solicited a lot of professionals, that today work under them, like I'm talking about accountants and, like registered people.
Sure.
And that it's someone who are just willing to pay and say, what, I need you to work for me, and I'm going to
do it
pay
the
you
right
for
way.
that.
Yeah, sure.
But I promise you, not our small businesses. They are not willing to pay for your services. No, I can do this for myself.
Sure.
Yeah. But basically, that's that, man.
Okay. Now, I think thank you so much for just explaining that. We'll come back to the mafias as well. I just I just wanted to find out now, or maybe rather, please explain what quantity surveying is in your own experience. After all these years of being a quantity surveyor, and also just to try to help a student who's listening to our podcast.
The confusion lies between thinking that quantity surveyor is just someone who deals with material, like counting. You are just counting the whole day, But it's more than that when it comes to the professional side of it. You get a quantity surveyor like myself who works for a construction company, on the physical site where the project actually is executed. And then you get a quantity surveyor that works for consultancy, that's more on the planning side of things, that works for the client, who wants to start this project.
That's feasibility.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, yeah. So that starts from stage one in that, feasibility. And from our side, our quantity surveying is some people call it construction cost accountants. Not that we are accountants, but from the construction side, some call it cost engineers. And that's because anything that has to do with finance in construction, we deal with it. Anything that has to do with procurement,
Sure.
of personnel, procurement of projects, assisting the client in understanding what will it take or what will it cost to finish that particular project. Saying this from labor that needs to be involved, how much of labor that needs to be involved, how much of professionals, how many professionals need to be, to be solicited for this project, and how much must you pay or are you willing to spend on that, and for how long are you willing to spend on that. So we get involved from the material side of things, what needs to be bought. We deduct that from the plans. We deal with the plant that needs to come to site, digger loaders, all these TLBs, anything that's movable, that needs to come and assist, cranes, anything, hours, that needs to be put in that side. So we kind of assist the client or the companies that we work for in keeping the budget that was agreed in the first place. That, look, we're going to do this project for 50 million. So ours is to ensure that how that 50 million was broken down in terms of the stages of the project, we keep it like that. And any changes in any form or way that happens, we need to, have our lights on to say, hey guys, we are losing money here, because here and here, I don't think anyone was aware that this thing will do this. So you get into those also grounds where something was unplanned, and it happens and it needs to be dealt with and it needs money. So, but you have those funds as well in the project, to deal with such things. And also you have also things like now, like we talked about, like delays, so you need to, to quantify as a quantity surveyor, this delay that we're having, how much will it cost us? How many days will it cost us? Are we able to claim this day from the client? So you need to assist in quantifying all of that, so that whoever is above you that needs to deal with this has proper records, financial records, to say, this is how much this is costing me. If it's rain, this is how much it's costing me. There are formulas to calculate rain and to calculate the days in delay. And that can be, turned into the plant that is standing still and not working. How much is it costing me in that day? The people that came to work that are not going to work because it's raining, how much are they costing me that day? So all of that is a discussion between your company and the client. And the client needs to have that firm decision to say, okay, I see that there was no way you could have worked as well, because it was 30 millimeters of rain. And because of that, you can claim one day, because of the backup that you brought. So we keep all paperwork. We run the administration of the site. You are in charge of the person that orders the material to site. You are in charge of the person that stores the material, how they store them. All those things, you look after them. You look after the site personnel. You look after even the guys that are working to do the work. If they are more than they should, you raise the alarm to say, guys, we are losing money here. You guys need to get rid of one guy here. Because every day, that one guy for the rest of the month is costing us this much.
Sure.
So as much as it is difficult, but you make those calls, Like, for instance, currently in my company, the client asked us to expedite the project into May, to finish by May. We're supposed to finish September, but it's like, guys, please, can you finish by May? Yeah, we know it's a political thing. Why? We know what's happening in May.
Sure.
But if he's a client, we need to do it.
Sure.
So such things, you get involved. Well, how much is that going to charge me? Because if I need to expedite, then it means that I need to speed up. I need to get more guys to come and fast track this thing. I need to pay extra guys to do this. I need to get extra plant to do this. I need to get, my program redone to do this. So all those things as a quantity surveyor, you get involved. You sit down in the table and you plan. This is how, guys, I'm planning to attack this, to fast track this, and all officers, they get involved. The civil engineer sits there and says, okay, guys, I've got this much big team and they can take care of so much work. So I would assume we need an extra team to be able to finish by May. Then he looks at me to say, how much is that going to cost us? So basically, that's your role throughout the site project cycle.
Yeah. What's the most challenging thing about your work?
It's dealing with people, man.
Why is that?
It's never nice. It's never nice.
Sure.
Like a person can agree in the contractual to say, I'm going to work for this much. And then they get to work. And because of they didn't think it through somehow or maybe, and then they come to you and say, man, this is not working for me. And now, like I say, you've got all these challenges from the client, all these demands from the client.
Sure.
And someone just pitch and say, this is not working for me.
Sure.
I think we need to revisit,
So you have to change the contracts now.
You change the contracts, you change the cost.
Sure.
So which means that what you thought you were making, you're not going to make because this guy, or you're going to take another 2 weeks trying to get a
different, yeah.
And there are rules. You must get 3 contracts. You must evaluate them. You must, there are things in place to avoid, get your favorite person to come and work.
Sure.
So it becomes a whole process. So you're thinking, should I waste my time and money trying to find a certain individual to come and work, or do I negotiate with this guy and look into maybe is it that he's not planning his work properly, that he's not making money, or is it that he is wasting money in other things and that he's not making money? Because you get like our local guys, you get a guy that owns a small business, and this guy that owns a small business, he's got a team of 5 guys to plaster for him.
Okay.
He wants to be there and watch. This is all he does for the whole day. And then you get someone who's got a team of plaster of 4 guys, 5 by himself, and he gets to work with them.
Sure.
And that guy never complains. You understand? Because he understands the work and he understands how to get it done quicker.
100%.
And he knows how to push those guys than someone who's just watching them. Like they've made it already. And that's the difference you get. And it's something it's a trend you see in all phases of the project. When you get that person that gets involved, that person that wants to know, why are you slow? Why are you not, you understand? And then that's when you see this guy makes money because they understand now. In order for me to make money, I need to finish what I'm doing quicker to get more in.
100%.
And I need to get
to
more
move on to the
guys
next project.
to go to the next project, because then your people are your resources. Unless you are freed from your resources, you cannot participate on the next project.
100%.
So as a quantity surveyor, sometimes we even advise them to say, hey guys, shesh, you're not making money. So like I said, it's that whole drill, that you need to understand as an individual, that you're going to deal with people. And dealing with people is never nice.
I've had a taste of sitting down in a stressful environment in the construction.
Yeah.
I feel like your work as quantity surveyors is a stressful job. How do you deal with that? Because it feels like it's actually very demanding, because everyone wants to take out money from the client, and you want to save as much money from the client. And any form of delay has to be sort of taken out from the client, and it's like the tug of war. How do you deal with something like that?
Look, man, it's stressful in a way that sometimes if you are off sick or you are not at work, your work is waiting with you. Unlike a person on site who is not on site, obviously they don't close it down. They get someone to step in, come, you're gonna supervise on his behalf while he's not here. But for me, in that particular project, I am not there. They just pack everything in my desk.
It's a pile up.
It's piling up. And that day, the Lord releases you to come man, you find a history of work that is waiting for you.
Sure.
And that's one of the challenges, is that you need to balance work and family and life in general. And it becomes difficult because you can never not be at work. Because you know when you are not, it's difficult. And not that you can't not be at work, but personally you know what's going to happen if you are not at work.
100%.
You're going to have a lot of work waiting for you. And sometimes when you come back, there are deadlines. That's one thing that's challenging about our work, is that there are deadlines right through the month. There are fortnightly guys that needs to be paid. There are monthly guys that needs to be paid. There are 25th guys that needs to be paid. Right through the month, you are trying to pay someone. And not to forget to do that. If you do, they're going to come for you. And your company won't like it, because now you're making them look bad.
Look bad, yeah, sure.
So it's one of the things you need to learn to very quickly. When someone needs to get paid, they get paid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is going to rain. I remember there was a time we paid these guys in this site. I said there was a gangsterism and stuff. So we paid these guys and they were not happy, because they felt it should be more. They need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they were robbed.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, guys, here is what you did. And it ties up to what you got paid. And no. Guys, I think let's go to their head office. Hectic. Didn't you see us screaming like, oh, guys, relax. What's happening?
Sure.
Because it's not going to look good on the whole side team.
100%.
So now you are here trying to negotiate with people who do not want to understand that, guys, you are getting paid for what you did.
Sure.
And you're not going to get paid for what you did not do right.
Yes.
Because there's that in construction, we avoid paying for work that is defective, for work that we see it should not have been done like this. So you try to have a conversation with the guy, look, what you did is not right. You need to redo it. Man, I'm telling you're going to have problems.
So he's thinking of invoices already at the time.
Yeah, he's thinking of the delay, how long it's going to take him to redo this thing, and whether or not he's going to have time to claim for it.
The resources, yeah, sure.
Ah, man, you're not going to. I need to speak with someone else other than you. So it's
a high stress environment.
Yeah,
but you sort of have to find ways of dealing with it. Yeah, sure.
That it is. I remember I thought working for the client. I work for the
construction. Yes, sure.
We always want to make money. The client always want to save it.
100%.
So there's that fight always between the two. And I feel that there should be some form of relationship done that needs to be mended. I don't know who broke whose heart, but we need to get along in that industry.
100%.
But I tell you, man, it's never like that.
I think the moment you introduce money, it's a different ball game, and it's like contractors with us. We try to make sure that the work that's been done is high quality, as on the consultant side.
Yeah.
And the contractors, they always try to do their own shika and then sort of hide cables not done properly in the ceiling. Yes. And then we tell them, look guys, you have to redo this thing because this is not the standard that we want it to be. True. Like. So I think the moment there is money and someone will try to cut corners or someone will try to invoice more than, like you were saying.
Yeah, no, correct.
It becomes very, very interesting. Please advise someone who wants to do quantity surveying and just advise them.
Well, I think they need to be passionate about it, like any other industry. They need to be passionate about it, and they need to know that growth takes time, and also, man, to make it, they need to last to see that happen, because I've seen a lot in the circle of people I even started with, that have even changed careers because they they feel like it's not for them, to suffer so much for something that they are not sure even if it's going to, come to the fruition that they are expecting.
Yeah.
Because also, man, it's not like it's something you cannot change. Because we have this thing that because you started something, you feel like, I need to die trying to make this thing
Make
work.
it work, yeah, sure.
And that's one thing they need to be flexible about, that they can always change, and it's something that it took me time to learn, but at least they get to learn it now before they even start.
Yeah.
That you were not made with that job. You were not made for that job. You studied for it, but you were not made for it, specifically. You were made to flourish wherever you are and in whatever you do with your heart and with your mind. And that will bring you results. And that's something we just need to understand, is that whatever we find ourselves in, we make it work and it works for us. So like myself, I'm currently finishing my Advanced Diploma in Project Management, and it's something outside quantity surveying. Yes, it has got some financing in it, but it's something outside of it. It's looking from things in a different perspective.
For sure.
And I'm doing my professional. I'm affiliated, with SACPCMP, for construction management, and which is something also outside quantity surveying. But like I say, you make work what can work,
sure.
And you do not find yourself stagnant, because of something you studied. If you see that it's not doing what it needs to do when you want it to do, help it. Gather things around. See how, because another thing is that we are not able to see into what's coming. So we limit ourselves to what is currently. You understand? So it is good sometimes you allow your mind to just run around, to see that, look, if I can do this, it's not that I'm running away from this, but these two things can work to my advantage, when they both mature.
Sure.
And it's not a bad thing that I want to do something else that can still work for me, because this can also encourage this one, and make me even a better person. And my background here is not gonna go vanish because I suddenly am not practicing as a quantity surveyor. And those are the things that we need to learn in any career, that we are not tied to it. It's like a relationship.
It's okay to pivot.
Do you understand? It's okay. You tried, maybe it didn't work, maybe it worked. But as a person that's starting out, throw yourself in the deep, learn as much as you can. And also, like I said, there are professional bodies. This is what I found helps, and it's just unfortunate. I found it helping when I was like 4 years, 5 years in, and now I'm realizing, you know what? If I structured my experience in this way,
sure,
in trying to learn these things, it would have made me a different breed than I am now.
Sure.
I'm not regretting the breed I am because it made me understand all these things. And I think one thing for me is that I had to learn a lot of things myself. Not because there weren't people around, but there weren't people that understand my culture. That's another thing. The fact that you are black in an industry that is white or color dominated, especially in Cape Town, it is another ball game.
Sure.
Because you don't get to share everything with these guys that are already there. And there's that limit. Everyone is trying to protect their bread. So now trying to be showing interest, it's like trying to take a bread from someone else. But you're just trying to grow. But someone is like, hey,
Job security.
Why do you ask a lot? Why do you want to know a lot?
Sure.
So they will deal with that. Anyone who's starting out, they will deal with that. People who are pushbacks, they're like, hey, stay there. You will learn as time goes. Don't jump things. They're trying to slow your progress.
100%.
But like I say, if you try to, like people, others they do EXA, others they do QSP. SACQSP, to affiliate with professional quantity
bodies, yeah,
surveying,
sure.
others with the professional project managers. But once you affiliate, you get to see exactly the output you should be getting. So they should affiliate as soon as they can, and that will assist them to give them a broader perspective of their job and what experience they need to be gathering, and that will lead them to know if the company I'm in
gives you the experience you want.
Sure. Should I be looking for something else? Am I going to grow here or not? Into becoming this. Do they even allow me to become this? You understand? Because some companies will tell you straight up, no, we don't need a professional what are we going to do with that? That's a status for yourself. You can do that for yourself. But I mean, the company.
But with them, they're just looking for the money and the workforce to actually do the work. Whether you get it, get your X or whatever, it doesn't really matter for them.
Which means that you're going to struggle because then you're going to deal with a company where they are not professional.
They're not prioritizing that part 100%.
And support your endeavor. So, like I said, they're going to deal with a lot. And the unfortunate part is that you are qualified. Once you are qualified, then you still need to become a professional. And you are thinking, can't even find a line this whole time. If I still need to,
pay some, for some more school fees for being professional.
And the fees are expensive.
100%.
The fees are expensive, man. And so anyone who's starting out, man, their excitement is great. It will fuel them. But I think they need to affiliate as early as possible if they are serious about that industry.
I think maybe just to sort of close it is the one question I would want you to ask. I know you were actually touching on it, but I think this is sort of the reason why we're sort of doing this podcast, to sort of give something that give advice to people who are going to be listening to this, whether it be your colleagues, because some of the colleagues that you have, they don't even know the things that you're doing now. Please advise someone that route that you need to take in order to become a professional. Like you said, that you actually found a way that could work for you. Just try to summarize it and give them maybe an outline that they can use to pace their career.
Look, it depends what career obviously they are in. And I think in any career these days there is a professional what.
There's always a council.
That's
a governing body.
So the first thing I did after wasting quite a good 3 years after varsity, was to sit with myself and think, man, I need to be doing something. Like I can't just go to work, come back. I need to rejuvenate my mind, to kind of be active on something other than work, gym, and and then I thought, professionally, what else do I need to do? What else? What more work do I need to to become, or put myself at a better, hand of mercy when it comes to maybe applying for a better job or attaining, a better qualification in something. Just to grow professional. So I thought, I made a research to affiliate, what bodies are there that can affiliate, a person with my experience and my qualifications. And I made a research as well within the company. What is it? If I do this, what do I gain? Is there a way I can move forward? Is there a door I can break into? And then, sit with the HR and also my mentor, back then. And we had a chat, an open, honest chat. We're not talking about my work here, if I'm doing my work correctly or not. That's not the question. The question here is I need to grow. And I need to know from the two.
What is my growth plan?
Exactly. Sure. What is my growth plan? And is there a possibility if I get all of this growth, that I would get into these spaces. Also because sometimes you grow and then they're like, oh, well, you did that for yourself. The company.
We don't reward that
Yes.
kind of.
So I did those things, just to research, and also how the company will assist me, because I'm assisting it. They pay me for it, that's fine, but also I'm sure they need to give back in some way to make sure that their employees they grow. So I ask those questions as trivial as they are, maybe to someone that, hey, you are too, but I needed to grow. Like I say, I got to a point I needed to grow, and I needed to ask the questions. Hey, man, I've been here for 2 years now. Hey, what's happening? So yes, then there was told, look, the only affiliation we do here in the company is the construction management affiliation. This one we don't do because the company is not really a consultancy, so we do not really get to make professional QSs, because we really don't need that kind of service here. I said, okay, well, I can't blame you for what you need and not. You are a company, you know what the company wants.
Yeah, sure.
It's your company, so you know what's good for it. Fine, let's register with this what you can.
100%
Then,
sure.
like I said, I wanted to grow in myself.
Within the company, sure.
You understand? So I registered that, and I find out that I can register that. So I registered that, and then the company was paying for all the fees, and then there are logbooks you need to do, and some of the things you learn as you go, man. Like I say, when you want to do something, you become so uncomfortable with not achieving. So you like, I want to do everything to make this work.
Sure.
So I learned as I go, and you learn that there are milestones that you need to achieve, certain disciplines that you need to do. And sometimes you need to ask the people that you work with, hey, can I have an experience in this? Can you put me in this exposure? Can I work with this software? You ask those things. And if they don't want to, they don't want to, but you have done your part to know, I need to grow in this area. Can you assist? And that will help you even when you leave the company to say, you guys, I have this and this and this that I wanted to do, and none of you were able to help. And now you want me to stay. Why? You understand? But you try your best to grow, because no one is going to ask you to grow. So I did those things to say, look, I need experience here. I need experience in tendering. And then I spent a week tendering, sitting there with the guy that's tendering, asking questions, showing me the do's and don'ts, showing me how they get to get a project, and how they get to submit, and how the steps, what they need to stay away from, how they see if a project is legit or someone is just doing scams. You learn all those things. You 100%. Spend some time. That's your report as well. That's a fulfillment in your report.
Sure.
So you grow that portfolio.
So it's like getting army badges.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then, so last year was my last stage where I had to submit the full report to say, since I affiliated 3 years ago, this is what
you've gathered, sure.
And now I'm busy, preparing for an interview with the board, and it's I'm learning new things from what I should have done, as part of my submission.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So now that I'm preparing for an interview and the questions they ask, and I'm going to my reports, I'm like, yo, I should have done this.
You should have added some few information.
But like I say, I became like, like a very stubborn achiever. That I was like, no, what? I need to do this. I'm gonna do reports. I don't have a structure. My mentor, man, is someone who did his back in the 2000s. He doesn't remember a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's just there, no, I can advise you, I'll go through your stuff, check, and then note a few things, And people are busy, man. So you need to put in the work.
Yeah.
So I did. So, like I say, also, it's quite an achievement for me to be able to write reports and they get assessed and they get, to be passed to say, no, we're ready for you. And that's currently the scariest moment right now.
It sort of makes sense. And I think, especially in our sort of, what do you call this? In our field.
Yeah.
which is engineering. I think you work with engineers, either,
Yeah.
of course. So you want to be registered as an Excel
Yeah.
professional,
Sure.
and I think that's sort of the goal of the podcast as well, to say that we encourage that, and we're rooting for you, and we believe we're wishing you luck on that
Thanks,
interview, so that at least when you get there, you nail it, and you get that recognition that you sort of need to make progress in your career.
Yeah.
And this is why we are having this conversation, so that at least we can have real stories of people who are actually doing it, and I think you have shared so much valuable stories and examples that can help someone who wants to follow the path that you have taken. In closing, please, what has been the recurring theme in your career, and what have you learned from it?
Allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself not to feel good about certain results. It's life. I think it's part of life. You do something and you think you have achieved, and you won't get recognition for it. Allow yourself to to sink in that, in no one acknowledging your efforts, in no one praising you, because some people, you will always want progress, where is this, where is that, where is that, and no one will really take their time to say, man, you've done good, you've worked on yourself, you've put effort, you've shown muscle, that you want to become something, so allow yourself to just know that you're doing this because you want to get to a point. And you'll meet all these things along the lines that will try and take up your energy, but one thing that you should not allow is to let your passion slide, so all I want to say, man, is failure is part of progress. you know Failure is part of progress. It's not what takes us down. Failure is nothing that takes you down. I've failed so many couple of times. I can I can point. Like I said, sometimes you deal with people not getting paid. I've failed with a lot of things. But one thing I've made sure of is that I don't allow it to eat on me. That I forget that I need to move on and still show up, because no one is going to do it for you. You get to a level like ourselves, you have family, you think beyond yourself. Your mind is just focused, what? I need to make something, and that something needs to shout loud, not for myself, but for my son, for my wife, and for anyone that seeks to look and ask questions at me, that they know, look, this guy did it without all of this, the help, the guidance, he just went to eat it all up, and he failed along the way, but I mean, he did it.
You did, yeah.
And I want to be that exemplary, to just say, no, sometimes you need to push with your forehead, but you need to get it done, And one of my biggest motivator, I wouldn't advise people to really, David Goggins. I like his passion for life.
Sure.
His passion to say, if I'm not giving up, nothing is taking me down. As long as I'm deciding not to give up, I'm not allowing anything to. And that's just, one of my biggest attitudes. To say, what? Come what may, I will push. I will swerve with the corners, but I'll get there. And that's just part of life, and that's my conclusion.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think when you were just explaining that, I was just remembering, I think it's one of famous quotes that's used these days, which is fail forward, don't fail backwards.
Yes.
So,
no, true.
Yeah.
Very true, man. That's a powerful one. That's a powerful one. Fail pushing.
Yeah.
Fail trying, fail getting up.
Yeah. Failing forward is what makes you get to the other side.
Yeah, man.
And then Yeah,
It's
thank you so much.
important for us youngsters and people who are trying to grow to find to see ourselves achieving things that are no are somewhat not a norm, somewhat not what our people around us are used to. But to say, oh man, I did it, I have it, I am a, you know, I got it, so that the people around us can learn that it is possible, not from anyone else, but from someone they saw from they are young and someone they have personal experience, because our achievement speaks louder to those closest to us than to anyone who is admiring us, because it is them that are in awe of our effort because they know where we're from. And for me, it speaks a lot, man, to prove that I can make it and I will not allow anything to stop me. Anything, man. If I need to, like I said, if I need to change and do something else because this one is currently not working, we're coming back to it. But for now, maybe it's not giving. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to do something that is working. And I'm going to give it my 100% until the devil can see, I think delaying him here just made it worse.
Sure.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah.
Thank you so much, man, for this conversation, and I think it's going to be valuable for most of the listeners in the workforce out there.
Yeah.
Thank you for honoring the invite as well, and looking forward to having you again.
Yes, man. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Beautiful studio.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I appreciate you taking time and tuning in and be part of our community. We get to share ideas, stories, and perspectives through this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and found something valuable in it. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your family and friends. I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Until then, take care. This is the podcast signing out. See you next time.